Alright, we're going to go through and show you how to use your TI-83 or TI-84 graphing calculator. Then we'll go through and I'll kind of go back and forth as far as with Desmos and go from there. So if you have a TI-83 or an 84, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go with this table. So you're going to go to, if I open up my calculator, I'm going to go hit the, let's clear everything out, I'm going to go to the stat button, and then from there where it says edit, I'm going to hit enter, okay, and I'm going to type in this list where I have 8, 6, 1, 5, 3, 4, 8, 6, 6, 10, and then it should be 0 and 0 here. So from there I should have a 0. So this is what my table should look like, and then down the L2 column, 34, 22, 17, 14, 20, 35, 19, 27, 42, and 0 again. So here's my values. This is what my TI-84 should look like. So this is, all I did was went to the stat menu and then where it says edit and hit enter, and then I just began typing those values in. Now if I'm dealing with Desmos, okay, all I'm going to do, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to, I should be at Desmos.com, and then go to the calculator. I'm going to hit the plus key where it says add an item. Okay, where I add an item, I'm going to go to table. So from the table, I'm going to use my same values that I had, and I'm just going to type those in. So I'm going to have 8, and I'm just going to go straight down. Or I'm going to go 8, 34, and if I just type it straight in, 6, 1, 5, 3, 4, 8, 6, 6, 10, and 0. Down the y-axis, I'm going to go 34, 20, 2, 17, 14, 20, 35, 19, 27, 42, and 0. So what should happen is whenever I go, now granted if depending on where I'm at as far as Desmos, I can drag it around and go from there. Okay, so depending on how big of a window that I want to see, I would try to put it as close to where I can get all of my values in there, so something similar to this here. Now going back to those of you with the TI-83 or an 84. Now an 83 is going to be a little bit different for the most part, but what you want to do from here, now, and you can do this a couple different ways, okay, is we need to turn the plots on. So in doing that, you can do this a couple different ways. One is going second and then y equals where it says stat plots. Okay, we're going to use stat plot 1. So if we do that and we hit enter, we need to make sure that on is bolded, and then to make sure that there's no lines drawn, then down here it should be the very first one with all the dots. Okay, if not, if you have where in some cases it may come where it connects all the lines and all the points and turns it into a nice neat picture. If you notice, like if I do that here, it may on my graph down here at the bottom, it may show that. For the most part, that's not, so it could look like this. Okay, if you can see that picture, we don't want that. Okay, we want just the points, and we want it to look something like that whenever that shows up. So from there, all I'm going to do is I'm going to hit zoom and then 9. Okay, that will put the points on my graph in a window. If I just hit graph, okay, then what's going to happen is it will give me a point, or it will just give me the standard 10 by 10 or negative 10 to positive 10 window, okay, with the X and the Y axis. I don't want that. So all I did, I went to zoom, I went to 9, and have it here. Another way for you to have the stats on there is to go to y equals, and if you notice up here at the top that plot 1 is highlighted. If it's not highlighted and I hit graph, I'm not going to have anything in my window. Okay, so before you say, Mr. Laws, I don't have anything in my window, you can either do it one of two ways. Either go second and y equals and turn it on, or you can just hit y equals and go up to where it says plot 1 and hit enter. So now, okay, so whenever we do that, if we go then graph, and it should give everything back to it. Okay, Desmos is nice because it automatically puts it on there as you type it in. Okay, so you were getting your points almost immediately. So from here, what we want to do is we want to calculate the line of best fit. So again, if you have an 83, all I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to the stat button, and it should have edit and calculate and test. I'm going to arrow over to calculate. Okay, I want to do linear regression. So I can either arrow down to 4, or I can just hit 4. Okay, and it should say that the X values come from list 1, my Y values come from list 2. I can enter everything through. If you have an 83, you probably don't have the store regression equation. So I'm going to hit down here to calculate, and it should give me a new screen to where it should give me what my slope is. Okay, in this case, slope is not M, it is A. Your B is still your slope intercept. Okay, and then my slope or my y-intercept of negative 0.8720. Okay, so if you have an 83, just keep this on your screen currently. Now, if you have Desmos, what you're going to do is I need to go down, and I may have to add an item. Okay, down here. Okay, all I'm going to do. Okay, I want to make sure that my keyboard is open. So I'm going to go Y, and then hit the little ABC button. So then I can go and make a Y sub 1. So I just hit the little A sub B and then go back to my ABC button and then a 1. Now what you're probably going to want to do is to arrow over to where you get it back to full size. And now I want to put in the tilde, or like similar, or I can go to my ABC and hit it right here. Okay, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to start typing in my slope-intercept form. So slope-intercept is y equals mx plus b. So all I'm going to do is go m. It's starting to give me values. Okay, as I start to type this in, I'm going to go x. I want to go back to my 1 here. Notice that it's starting to give me my slope. Okay, it gives me a slope, but I'm not done because I need to have the plus and then b. Okay, if you notice of my values, and as I zoom, don't want to leave, as I zoom in, those values here, okay, are pretty close, if not the same, or they are the same as what I had if you had the graphing calculator. So the 4.2033 and then the negative 872, there we go. Everything is the same. So that is my line of best fit. So now you have some other values here. This just basically, the closer it is to 1 with my R, that means the stronger of a correlation that everything is. Now, so how do we get the line if we have a TI 83 or an 84? Well, here's what we're going to do. You're going to go into y equals. Okay. Again, it should be plotted. I should be in my y sub 1 line. From there, I'm going to hit the VARS button or the VARS button. Okay. And from there, since I'm using statistics, I'm going to go down to 5, or I'm going to hit 5. And then I want to test this, or I want to go to the equation, excuse me. So from there, I'm going to go over, I'm going to arrow over to where it says EQ, and it should be reg equation or regression equation, and I'm going to hit enter. It will automatically put in my line of best fit. I can go back to my graph, and I can draw my line of best fit, and it's the same line that we have with the Desmos application as we do with the graphing calculator, but now it's going to look a little bit different because of how everything's zoomed in and how all of my values and how it fits into my window. But it's the exact same thing. So then how does this fit? So like now if we have our equation, this is the exact equation. Now I don't want you to write out all of your decimals and things like that, but now you can actually have the exact line of your equation. Okay, whether it be whenever you do the linear regression or you look there. What I would suggest is to round it every time to the nearest hundredth, so that means 2 decimal places after the decimal is what I expect as far as whenever you put the slope and the y-intercept. So that way whenever you have to estimate, you can go from there. Now, last thing, the one thing I want you to add if you have a TI-83 or an 84, I want you to go into mode. Okay, and as you go into mode, if you notice down here where it says Stat Diagnostics, turn that on, so that way you can have, so like if we can tell how well of a how strong of a correlation it is. So it'll give you your R and your R squared. Okay, so it's a 9.71, so we're looking at the regression. So the closer that is to 1, okay, the stronger it is. Okay, so if it's closer to 1, the closer it is to 1, the stronger it's going to be. Okay, as far as a positive correlation, closer it is to -1, it's going to have a negative correlation.